In this video, I will show you how to use the unique analyzer function in ChartMill to very quickly find stocks that meet your specific criteria, fundamental and technical. How you can easily combine the ChartMill technical and fundamental ratings, how to create one or more watch lists to follow up on the selected stocks, how to determine an entry, stop loss and target level, and how to calculate how many shares you can buy based on your available investment capital. My name is Christoph. Welcome to ChartMill. So we're on the ChartMill homepage, and first of all we're going to select the Analyzer page from the main menu. This is actually a simplified version of the detailed stock screener page where you can tweak each available filter individually. The Analyzer page, on the other hand, works with a number of predefined filter combinations, and in total there are 5 different options. Technical breakout setups. These setups are generated based on 2 purely technical ratings. The technical rating, which is obtained by looking at the price trend in both the short and long term. And the stronger and clearer the upward trend, the higher this score will be. And then there is also the setup rating. So if there is a decent setup pattern recognized by ChartMill, the setup rating will be higher. Next is the affordable growth stocks filter. This filter is aimed at finding financially sound companies which show good growth and decent profitability and which are not overvalued from a fundamental point of view. Decent value stocks looks specifically for value stocks with decent profitability and growth, and of course these companies must also be financially sound. Best dividend stocks analyzes the stocks with the best dividend while also showing decent profitability and financial health. And then strong growth stock technical setups. This is the filter that selects stocks with typical characteristics of growth stocks, but where at the same time the technical rating of the stock is also taken into account. Basically, this is the filter that applies both fundamental and technical ratios when selecting stocks. Now the custom screen allows you to further fine-tune each of these predefined filters. For example, if you add a technical rating score of 8 out of 10 to the affordable growth filter, you will only keep the stocks from the affordable growth selection that are in a strong upward trend. Every ticker from that affordable growth list will now show a minimum technical rating score of 8. Or you may start with the technical breakout setups where you specify via the custom screen that you only want US companies with decent profits. Select US only, and for the profitability rating set a score to 7 out of 10. And every ticker will now only have a technical and setup rating of at least 7 out of 10, but also a specific profitability rating of 7 out of 10. Now let's take a look at the individual results of the different predefined filters to see whether or not there are any interesting setups available for the upcoming trading day. Today is June 7 and the stock markets are still closed. I had a quick look already at the results in the analyzer last night after the market closed, and I have retained 5 stocks which I will now examine in more detail. So I start with the technical breakout setups, where I have withheld a total of 3 stocks, and the first one is CHRW. As you can see, a technical rating of 7 out of 10 and a setup rating of 9 out of 10. You can see 2 thumbnail charts, a weekly chart and a daily chart, and there is definitely some overhead resistance. Now, if you want to take a closer look in detail, you can open these charts in the chart tool. So I right click and then open link in new tab. So this is the daily chart of CHRW, but I want to compare it to the weekly chart. So in the blue bar, this little inverted triangle pattern symbol, just click on it and then select 2 charts, and now you have immediately a weekly and a daily chart of the same ticker. So on the weekly chart, on my screen there is the ChartMill trend overlay which is visible, and I have also added the RSI indicator, the standard settings, as a reference. And on my daily chart, there are 2 different moving averages. One is a 10-period exponential moving average, this is the green line, and then 20-period simple moving average, which is the orange line. Now, this is the medium-term trend on the daily chart. As you can see, the exponential moving average is crossing upwards and downwards the 20-period simple moving average. So that is definitely a sideways trend. On the weekly chart, the trend is upwards because the ChartMill trend indicator is green. Green is up, red is down, and gray is neutral. But there is definitely some overhead resistance at the $112 level. So I'm going to show this. I'm at an horizontal line. So the high of this candle is 112.15. So I'm not really considering this as a real trade setup. It is a pre-setup, as I call it, and I will add this to my to a specific watch list. So to add this one to the to a specific watch list, just hit the plus sign. These are my predefined watch lists, and this one is going to my swing trading pre-setups. So there is a green check mark. Now this one is added to my swing trading pre-setups. Next one is the Southern Company, ticker SO, electric utilities, and listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Technical rating 10 out of 10 and a setup rating of 8 out of 10. And again, I'm going to open this one in the chart tool. So right click and open link in new tab. And again, you see the default, the daily chart. Now, I could change this again to 2 charts, but to avoid having to do this over and over again in the future, I'm going to change the default settings. And to do so, go to your account by clicking on your name in the upper right corner. Then select the view settings and change the default view to 2 charts. So scroll down, 2 charts. I'm going to close this tab. Now, whenever you call up the chart of any single stock, you will by default immediately be shown 2 charts. So again, if I open this ticker in a chart tool, open link in new tab, as you can see, by default, I get a weekly and a daily chart. And also for this ticker, the weekly chart is long-term trend is up. The ChartMill trend overlay is green. And on the daily chart, we have consolidation, a sideways trend. So as with the other ticker, this is not an actual trade setup. It's rather something to put on my watch list. So I added this one to my swing trading pre-setup list. On to the next one, which is UNM Insurance, also listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And yesterday, this stock closed almost 2.5% higher. So let's take a look at the chart tool. And this is actually a real trading setup. On the weekly chart, the trend is up. Very obvious. And on the daily chart, I recognize an ascending triangle pattern. So this is the horizontal resistance line. And together with this trend line, you can clearly see the ascending triangle pattern. And yesterday, price broke out above resistance. Price even closed above resistance with some decent volume. Oh, that's going to use this one. As you can see here, some decent buying volume and a breakout above resistance. So this is actually a trading setup. So I will add this stock to my swing trading setups. So the last 2 candidates are coming from the affordable growth filter, and the first one is Huntsman Corporation, ticker HUN, chemicals listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So as I've already mentioned in the beginning of this video, the affordable growth filter is looking for stocks which are showing good growth, decent profitability and health, and are not overvalued from a fundamental perspective. And if we take a closer look at the fundamental analysis, the overall fundamental rating, HUN gets 7 out of 10, profitability 9, valuation 8, the growth rate is 7, and a decent health rating of 6. Now, the nice thing about this particular stock is that also from a technical point of view, it gets a good rating. A technical rating of 7 out of 10 and a setup rating of 9 out of 10. So in this case, both the fundamental and the technical aspects are positive, and that is worth to keep an eye on. So if we take a look at the chart, oh, something went wrong, so I'm going to change this manually to 2 charts. So write the weekly chart, and I'm going to change the secondary chart to best fit 1, so it's a little bit more obvious. So the ChartMill trend overlay, the long-term trend was positive. There was a slight pullback and the trend changed to neutral. And now the last 2 weeks, it again changed to positive. On the daily chart, the trend is rather sideways and there is resistance at, let's have a look. The high of this candle is 37.13 and we have support below around 32.85. Now I will only consider this as a trade setup if price can close above 37.13. In that case, next resistance is 41.5. So again, I will add this to my swing trading pre-setup list. So the last one is Imperial Oil, energy sector. An overall fundamental rating of 7 out of 10, profitability 6, valuation 5, growth 8, and financially a very sound company, 7 out of 10. And again, technical analysis, also a good rating, technical rating 9 out of 10 and a setup rating of 7 out of 10. So let's take a look at the charts. The weekly chart is obviously it's up, it's bullish, it's even a little bit overextended in my opinion. Price is rather far away from the rising moving average, the 30 weekly moving average. And on the daily chart, there was a breakout above the 54 level. And price is now consolidating. But the interesting part is on the secondary chart, is on the weekly chart. And I will change the period to 10 years. And as you can see, price broke above very important resistance on the long term. Going back to 2011 and between 2014 and 15. So the playfield is empty. There is no overhead resistance. And that is why I keep this ticker as a possible trade setup. It's going on my watch list. So if price can close above this red candle, the high is 57.63. So if price can close above it, then a tight stop loss just below the 10 period exponential moving average or just below 54. There is definitely some room for a further rise. So this one is going to my swing trading pre-setups. So now let's take a closer look at those 2 watch lists. So I select the stock charts. And first I'm going to open my swing trading pre-setup watch list. So Southern Company, Imperial Oil, Huntsman and Robinson Worldwide. These are no trading setups, as I've already mentioned, but I want to be notified if price can get above resistance. So I'm going to add price alerts. And for the Southern Company, the high is 77.23. So I select the bell icon. I'm going to add a price alert if price gets above 77.23. I want to be notified. Push notification or mail. Create alert. Close. Next, Imperial Oil, the high 57.63. So again, a price alert. 57.23. If price is above, create alert, close. Huntsman Corporation, high 37.13 and this is 37.04, so it's 37.13. Price alert 37.13. And finally CHRW, the high 112.15, so adding a price alert at 112.15. Create alerts. To manage your alerts, you can easily do so by clicking in the upper right corner your account, and then under the notifications tab you have the button manage alerts. Just click on it and then you get an overview of your existing alerts, and if you want to, you can delete them here. Next, let's take a look at the actual swing trading setup list. So I'm going back to the stock charts and I'm going to select the swing trading setup. Only one stock was withheld, UNM, and the first thing I'll check is the next earnings. So I'll do so by clicking the inverted triangle, select fundamental. So in this case it is mentioned that the next earnings are about to be released the 1st of August, so there is plenty of time. But I do this because I want to avoid that I'm being in a trade in a stock just before earnings are released, to reduce the risk that, for example, if the results are much worse than expected, to reduce the risk of a gap down if I'm in a long trade. So this is the daily chart. Once again, I'm going to change this to the two charts. So this is the weekly chart, the daily chart. Some decent volume, a nice breakout above resistance, above this level, and the exact price above is 36.93. Now I want to go long, so I'm going to use the position sizing tool. To launch the position sizing tool, click this icon. It will appear on your screen. You can replace it. So percentage risk is set at 1%. Commission, that is personal. I'm just going to set it to 0 in this example. Capital 100,000. That is your available trading capital. I'm going to change this to 25,000 for this example. Now I have to define an entry price and an exit price, so I will only go long when price can go above this last candle. There's the high is 37.49. My cursor is now above this last candle. Right click, entry goes here. Now it is changed to 37.63, but the high is 37.49. So I'm going to change this manually to 37.54, for example. My exit price at first, exit goes here just below the 10 period exponential moving average. So exit price now is set at 36.06. I'm going to change this to 35.92, just below 36. So all the check marks you get. Total risk is 250, which is 1% of the total available trading capital, $25,000 or euros, it depends. My risk per share is 1.62, which is the difference between my entry and my exit price. So if I have a risk percentage of 1% with this kind of distance, I can buy 154 shares. The total investment is just below $6,000, which is approximately 23%. The break-even price is 0% because I didn't mention commission rate or percentage tax if applicable. My stop distance is too low according to the position sizing tool. The reason for this is that the average true range is $1.15, and you can only get a green check mark if your stop distance is at least 2 times the average true range. Now, my personal preference is 1.5 average true range as a minimum, but of course it depends greatly to the overall volatility, the volatility in the stock itself and the volatility of the overall stock market. So especially these kind of days with high volatility, I would highly recommend to use 2 times the ATR as a stop distance. So then you have to change the exit price manually. For example, if I set this to 35.40, it's still a bit too low. 20, that's 2.03. So I guess it will be something like 22. Yeah, 22. So 35.22 it is the sweet spot. Then my stop distance is at just a little bit over 2 times the average true range. So 35.22, that's something around here, approximately. Next resistance is at 41.50, I guess. Let's have a look. The high of this candle is 41.28. So risk reward is decent, let's say. You can use a shorter stop loss, but as already mentioned, it depends on the volatility in the markets. So this setup will also be seen as a trading idea on our Instagram page and blog. This is one way how I use ChartMill on a daily basis to find decent trading setups. I definitely recommend the use of the position sizing tool because it helps determine exactly how many shares you may buy and the risk involved based on your available trading capital. So if there are any questions left, feel free to ask them in the comment section below this video. Don't forget to like us, and I'd love to see you next time. Thanks for watching.